Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome, a very warm welcome to Radio W.O.R.K.S World this morning. How are you this morning? How are you feeling? How are you feeling about your life, the world, and the way things are? Do you know, I remember a day when I would wake up every morning wondering about the things that I needed to fulfill that day and focusing on what I did yesterday, how I felt yesterday, and somehow bringing yesterday forward into today and tomorrow and tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. And then I kind of learned something that really helped me a great deal, which is I don't need to be the sum of my experiences. I can experience something, learn something from it. I don't actually need to be it. So experiences can come through me. I don't specifically need to be the experience itself or the result of that experience for that matter. It's up to me. It's my choice what I actually do with that experience. And I remember learning this in a very interesting way on a self-development course that made a huge deal of difference to my life. In fact, it helped me transform my life in a way that I only ever dreamt about before then. And maybe you can hear a tremble in my voice because I get emotional when I realize how it feels when you make a powerful choice that is totally transformative to your life, no matter what you've been doing up to now, no matter how you felt up to now about yourself, about your life, or anything that you've done in your life. And I realize with what felt to me like a bolt of lightning, two really important things. And that is that, first of all, it's not what happens that hurts you. It's actually what you make it mean. And our focus is very often on what's happened and how it felt to us. We focus on what was said, who was there, and then we want to blame other people for how we feel. And it's perfectly normal to do that. Everyone else is doing it, so it feels okay to do that. So something happens in our life, we make it mean something, and then that's it. It sets up a whole host of feelings and ways of being and ways of doing things. And we end up either loving that experience in the way we felt about it, or hating that experience in the way we felt about it. And then we end up either attempting to recreate the same experience if we judged it as being good. And then we also attempt to avoid that experience if we judged it as being bad. So we spend our lives either attempting to recreate the past or avoid the past. And we wonder why our future feels very much to us like our past. And I realized this when someone gave me an empowering phrase, the one I've just shared with you about why it is that we spend our lives being hurt by the things that happen to us, and specifically what we made them mean. And I remember thinking, well, you know, what big things happened in my life? What did I made them mean? What effect did they have on me because of what I made them mean? And if they actually didn't mean that at all, if they meant something entirely different, how different might my life be? And the biggest thing that I could think of is that at the age of 7, I lived in a little town, a beautiful town called Ismailia on the Suez Canal in Egypt. And at the age of 7, I got caught up in the 1967 Arab-Israeli War. I remember the very first day of the war, and I remember overhearing people in the street talking about Israeli soldiers landing on the other side of the Suez Canal. And I thought, uh-oh, that's not good. I know it's not good. I've been taught that this is not a good thing. So I wanted to go and tell my mum. I ran in to tell my mum, and she didn't believe me. Now, as a child, you must understand that I had a very vivid imagination. And I'm very happy that that imagination is with me still. And so I was really amazed that my mum didn't believe me, because I thought, okay, I know maybe I have an interesting imagination, only that's something I'm hardly likely to make up. Anyhow, that was just the case. And a few minutes later, or what felt like a few minutes later to me, I believe my father called my mother. I heard very hurried voices on the phone. And the next thing I knew, an ambulance arrived at the door. And my mum was throwing in all sorts of bedding, pillows, mattresses, sheets, and all sorts of other things. And I'm thinking, what on earth is going on here? And came next was my sister, my brother, and me. There's three of us. So I have an older sister and a younger brother. And this was apparently my father's way of keeping us safe. He worked at the local hospital. He's a doctor, and he sent the ambulance to take us to the hospital so that we would be safe that night. I don't actually remember arriving at the hospital. I just remember seeing a plane with its wings on fire coming down very close to us, or just a block away. I felt like if I just put my arms out, I could touch it. I'm not even sure if that happened on the same day. I just remember this picture. I remember the noises. I remember what felt like thunder with bombs exploding and the earth shaking. And I remember hiding under my father's desk with my hands above my head in an attempt to, I guess, protect myself. And I would hear the shrieking noise of the falling bomb, and I would wonder where on earth this bomb was going to go. Is it going to explode here, close by, far away? I mean, they all felt like they were very close by to me, and any minute now this could explode over my head or in the room we were in. And I was just praying to God, please, God, don't let this bomb fall on me. Please, God, don't let this bomb fall on me. And then I remember with horror imagining this picture of another little girl, a 7-year-old girl, just like me, doing exactly the same thing, wishing to God that the bomb doesn't fall on her. And I was totally alarmed, because I thought, oh my God, what if that bomb that I'm wishing doesn't fall on me falls on her, and I'm wishing her to die? I really felt like the most selfish little girl in the world, because I somehow translated this, that I was wishing her to die instead of me, because I didn't want the bomb to fall on me. I remember feeling selfish. I remember feeling like the biggest coward in the world as well. And these feelings stuck with me for a very, very long time. And for many years of my life, I felt those things very vividly, and I wanted to go around proving to all the world what a selfless little girl I was. And I wanted to prove to all the world what a brave little girl I was, because somehow in my heart was imprinted these two things. And then I realized in my adult life that we don't have to have gone through a war physically to feel those things. That even though I'd gone through a war physically, and I somehow felt that that set me apart from other people, that somehow I wasn't scared of anything, because when you think you're about to die, what else could be as scary? And yet, even with those experiences, as a human being, I still felt scared of some things. Maybe I felt that I was somehow braver than other people. And then I realized that actually I was no different to anybody else. Just because I'd been through a war, I'm still a frightened person. I'm still that frightened little girl that fears she's not enough, maybe for God to save her from these bombs, for God to allow her to live. And I realized that actually we don't have to have gone through a war literally to feel those things, that somehow we go through those personal battles every single day of our lives. Am I good enough? Am I good enough for someone to love me? Am I clever enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I tall enough? Whatever it is, we have this fear that we're not enough. And we create these messages from all sorts of events. And it's very convenient to blame those feelings on someone else that maybe triggered those feelings. That actually, when we grow up as adults, we carry them in our heart. And we carry them in this really deep place and in these really deep wounds. And we feel like they will never heal. And yet, I somehow found a way to start healing those wounds and to start feeling like, I'm a human being just like anyone else. I'm no different to anyone else. I'm capable just like everyone else. There is nothing special about me. There's nothing not enough about me. And I started to feel extraordinary when I realized I had the choice to make whatever message I want about me. It doesn't matter what happened. What happened is past, it's gone. I don't want to recreate it, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. I just want to let it go and create whatever I want to create from now on. And it's my choice entirely what I choose to create. And then I thought to myself, well, if my experience in that war wasn't a nightmare, if my experience in that war was actually a dream, because I did survive that war, I did live. And God chose to save me from that war. He chose to save me for a reason. And what if that nightmare that I'd lived through all my life, in fact, I had nightmares for years afterwards. I would dream that I was in a ditch and there were soldiers jumping over me. So there'd be me and my mother and my sister. We're in a ditch and soldiers would be jumping over us. And I'd be looking up thinking, oh my God, they haven't noticed. Oh my God, they haven't noticed. And maybe the war's about to finish. And maybe we're saved. Maybe it's okay. Maybe that's why they're not taking any notice, because they're so happy. They're just running to wherever they're going to go to because there's no war anymore and we're all saved. We're going to be okay. And the very last soldier stops and shoots. And I wake up feeling around for a shot in an absolute panic. I'm absolutely sure I've been shot. And yet I don't see a shot. I don't feel a shot. And I wonder where it's gone. And then I think, well, maybe I've died and gone to heaven. Because maybe the shot wouldn't be there if I'd died and gone to heaven. And if I died and gone to heaven, would I know about it? Would I know that I've died and gone to heaven? Or does it just happen and you don't actually know? And can you die and go to heaven in your bed? Can you die and go to heaven in your bedroom? I spent years of my life going through that experience over and over and over again, wondering if I was dead or alive, and figuring out that actually it didn't matter. It didn't matter one bit. That whatever I felt is what I felt. Whatever I chose about me is what I chose about me. And now I was choosing for the things that I made mean it's a nightmare to be a dream. And in that instance, I felt, I knew what my purpose in life was. I was actually in a room in a seminar with other people. And I remember the seminar leader saying, do you know, when we get to this point of the proceedings, some people actually know what it is they were born for in this life. Now, we've all heard the phrase, haven't we, that I think it was Mark Twain that coined it. He said, the two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. And the seminar leader said some people come to this point in the proceedings and they feel they know why they were born and what their purpose in life is. And if you're one of those people, please stand up and share. And I remember standing up bolt upright and thinking, I have no idea why I've stood up. What on earth am I going to say? I had a slight panic. And I thought, okay, I know whatever it was came from my subconscious because I'm not conscious of what it was. And I promised myself that from now on, I'm just going to speak intuitively. I'm going to speak from my heart. So whatever it is, please God, I'm going to open my mouth. And when I open my mouth, would you please connect my heart with my mouth so that whatever comes out straight from my heart. And I finally got to get on that stage to share. And within seconds, just before I was due to get on the stage, I knew exactly what I was going to say. And it almost floored me because I thought, oh no, how on earth am I going to share that? Who on earth do I think I am to even conceive that this is possible? And the thing I stood up and shared is that I survived through this war for a reason. And I felt for the first time in my life from my heart that I survived this war to be an agent of peace in this world and to bring peace in our lifetime to this world. And just before I got on that stage, I shared with them that I was wondering how I was going to share this and who on earth I thought I was to even make a difference, because this seemed like a vast dream. An enormous thing that was somehow bigger than me. And I suddenly thought, well, you know, all these famous people, all these politicians, they've had a go and they didn't succeed. Why wouldn't I succeed? What makes me think that I wouldn't succeed? And for once in my life, I felt like there was something bigger than me, and it wasn't scary anymore. It was just something that came straight from my heart. And I felt like it was a message that had been sent to me or through me for the rest of this world. And I chose to dedicate my life, first of all, to create my peace on this earth, because I thought, you know, if I can't figure out how to live in peace on this earth, how can I possibly want world peace to exist? And so I focused on creating my peace, and I shared with people that I just figured out that if all I do in this life is figure out how to live feeling peaceful with myself in this world and sharing it with other people so that they can feel peaceful too, that world peace could exist, because world peace is just about each and every one of us being at peace. No more, no less. I don't have to take responsibility for anyone else. I could just take responsibility for me. Each one of us takes responsibility for our own peace, and world peace could just exist in this very, very simple way. And from that day onwards, my heart has been on this incredible journey to share with people everything that I have, every way that I found out to create peace in my life, to inspire peace in other people's lives, to inspire people to do the thing that we're born for in this life, and maybe even to discover what it is. And it's brought me enormous fulfillment. I don't believe I knew what the word fulfillment was until I reached that point. And I want to share that with everybody, because I would love every single person that I know in this world to feel that place of peace and fulfillment in their hearts and in their lives. And that's why I'm here speaking to you. And I believe it's the reason for my existence. So thank you, Marina, for giving me this opportunity to share with your audience. And thank you also to Philip Chan, who you interviewed recently. We became friends last year, and he's the one that recommended us to each other. So I'm hugely grateful to him for doing that. For you giving me this opportunity to share, Marina. Is there anything you'd like to ask me?
Oh, and I'm speechless. Doesn't happen to me too often. And I have a couple of questions from our listeners. And two of them, they are radio hosts at Radio W.O.R.K.S World. And if you don't mind, I will share those questions with you. And if you choose to answer, I will be forever grateful. I'm grateful as I am. I feel that you are here for a reason. And I think the story you just shared is so profound and so important for each one of us, because sharing your story with the world, your story becomes a global story. And you are a fighter. You are a fighter for peace. You are the agent of brilliancy. And you inspire our listeners to create better life choices, to understand their true worth, to understand that they have no excuse, absolutely no excuse into becoming the person each one of us is designed to be, to deliver that unique gift we hold, each one of us holds. And that unique gift is a very unselfish gift. It's not for you to hold, it's for you to share. And you know, I really believe, is my strongest belief, that the secret, the sacred secret of living your life with purpose like you do, is sharing your story. So the first question comes from Marilee Scott, which is the authenticity host at Radio W.O.R.K.S. She lives in Pretoria in South Africa. And her
I know
question...
Marilee, we're very good friends. We met a couple of years ago, so I know her very well and I love her very much.
So she's asking, what are some of the hidden barriers that hold us back from achieving our goals? It is all in mindset, as some suggest, or are there other factors that we might not be aware of that need to be identified? And if so, how does one go about that?
Okay, so I would like to start a new phrase, and that is heart set. I hear this phrase mindset, or the word mindset, quite a bit. And I'm wondering where the heart comes in, because my feeling is no matter what we think with our mind, if our heart doesn't feel it, it's not going to happen truly. It's not going to happen from a place of truth. It's tough to sustain, and it takes a lot of effort to create. And so for me, it's actually about the alignment of the mind with the heart, rather than the mind taking over and doing all the speaking for us. And our heart kind of attempts to follow behind. It has a really tough time doing that. So I think the things that are hidden are actually to do with the what's going on in our heart. So it's fine to be saying to ourselves, I mustn't be afraid. You know, I'm a really good person. I'm okay. I'm fine. I can do this. And I can talk to myself for a long, long time. Only if I don't truly feel it in my heart, I'm going to have to keep talking to myself over and over and over again. So I believe our hidden depths are actually in our heart. And I believe the place from which we can touch our heart and say, hey, you know, I've experienced things in my life that had me feeling hurt, that had me feeling not good enough, that had me feeling all the things that maybe I feel I'm not good enough for someone to love. I'm not capable of fulfilling my purpose. I don't even know what my purpose is. I'm feeling all of those things in my heart, and yet I'm attempting to talk myself through them with my head. And my feeling is that it's actually in our hearts. The key is our heart is our seat of transformation. And if I truly want to transform my life and create new energy and new possibilities in my life, then what I commit to do is to be letting go of all the hurt, all the messages, all the I'm not enough things from my heart, truly from my heart, and just keep letting them go. because every so often a trigger comes up and I think, oh my goodness, I thought I let go of that. In fact, I started replacing my language from, oh, I've let go of that, to I'm letting go of that, rather than think, oh, good, aren't I clever? I've already let go of it. Okay. And the next time I feel like I haven't let go of it, I suddenly think, oh, maybe I'm not good enough after all, because I didn't let go of it. So now I'm always letting go of things. I'm always doing things, because we're in a continuum. It just takes some commitment from our heart to say, okay, heart, I know you've carried some hurt. I know you've carried some messages. And now together, we're going to be letting go of those messages to create a new space, to create new feelings, new possibilities, and a whole brand new world. And I love being in that space. And I love helping people creating that space in their heart too.
Wow. I have a correction to make. The questions were from Charmaine, the melody hosted Radio World from South Africa as well. And
Right.
I love them both. They're absolutely amazing human beings, and they create and deliver value day in, day out. They come on our show and they share their story. They teach, and they are young and they are full of energy. And I know they focus on what they have. They never think of what they don't have. They don't play the victim role. They know there is no one to blame, and you have to take responsibility for your own gift, and you have to create and deliver value, and you have to do that constantly without wondering where are you going. And I have another question from Marily now.
Okay.
She's asking that your latest book title is Wadi, and she was curious to know what it means or stands for.
Okay, so Wadi means valley in Arabic, and I called it Wadi after Wadi al-Hitan in Egypt. It's out in the Western Desert, southwest of Cairo, and it's a place where they found thousands of prehistoric whalebone skeletons, along with other mammals, sea creatures, and plant life. It used to be a seabed many thousands of years ago. And the central theme, or the central scene rather, in the book is of a young girl who survives a major flood. It happens while she's visiting Wadi al-Hitan with her mother, and she thinks she's dreaming. She has an amazing imagination, and she dreams that these whales must have been free at some point, because it was the bottom of a seabed. And unbeknown to her, a flood actually happens while she's there, and she still thinks she's dreaming, until she wakes up beached, clinging to the back of an upturned boat, having entirely forgotten what happened beforehand, how she got there. In fact, she's even forgotten her name. And it's her story of survival from nothing, and the difference in other people that survived with her that had nothing, and the people who survived with some of their possessions and past intact.
Wow. Wow. And this is such a powerful metaphor. So you are saying that even if you have amnesia, you could reinvent your life. Even if you forget your name, you could go out there into the world, share from the heart, take responsibility for what you got inside and nobody can take away from you, and help other people to create better life choices. Be at service to the world. And while you were speaking, I was thinking that society, especially Western societies, is conditioning its citizens to believe that they are born to chase earthly goals, to chase opportunities.
Right.
And in my last in the last couple of years, I traveled a lot in Asia, and I had book tours, and I met so many people, and changed my life simply because I learned that in the East, they have the same word for heart and mind. Where in the
Wow.
West, yes, and in the West, we have two words, heart and mind, and you have to take that journey, the 18-inch journey, from your mind to your heart.
Wow. That's really amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
And you see, taking that journey, you can lose the track because there are so many distractions. There are so many earthy goals out there. And you are chasing opportunities instead of looking inside and becoming the opportunity by offering yourself to the world and offering what you got. And it's so powerful and it's so personal
Mm.
that nobody can take it away from you. So you can lose, and you know very well that people lost before they made their true fortune. They lost, they got bankrupt, they lost their earthy, possessions. They lost their houses, their cars, their airplanes. It was a war. They lost everything, and yet what nobody can take away from you, it's you.
Okay.
If you suffer of amnesia, like the girl in the main character in your book, Wadi,
Mm.
and yet you are ripped off of everything you ever knew, everything you ever got, everything you ever imagined, and yet you have this divine essence
Mm.
that's personal to you. And unfortunately, you can't put it in a bottle and sell it, but you can
Well,
share your story. You
absolutely.
it's so unique to you, and every single one of us got it. What makes the difference and the fortune is the choice to use that divine essence or ignore it. Over to you, Aen.
Thank you, Marina. Do you know, while you were speaking that, I just kind of realized something that I really wanted to share with people. And that is, I want every listener to really feel that no matter their story, they have something extraordinary and unique to share. I truly believe that each and every one of us is born unique for that reason. We're born unique because we have something unique to bring to the world. There's something that someone will be inspired by in your story, even if you feel your story is very ordinary. So I just want to share with you that it doesn't matter what you feel you've gone through. So maybe you might be listening to me and thinking, wow, she's been through a war, she's written a book, she's done this, she's done that. Wow, that's really extraordinary. I can't possibly measure up to that. Well, I can absolutely assure you, if I just had a few minutes conversation with you, you will soon realize that you have an enormous amount to give to the world, no matter what your story is. And I think, the thing that's really opened my heart extraordinarily is that when you share with people, no matter what part of your story you share, when you share with somebody truly from your heart, from a place where you want to make a difference, people sense that, people feel that. So it's almost as if it's not the story that's important. So the story doesn't need to feel extraordinary to you in order for it to feel extraordinary to somebody else, because it's the energy you bring and the inspiration you bring by sharing from your heart that is the extraordinary thing. So please share who you are. In fact, if I could, Marina, would you mind if I share something that I wrote this morning?
Please, please, we agreed. We share everything. We go all
Right.
in, please.
So I have this thing about spending maybe half an hour every morning writing something, writing whatever's in my heart, and sometimes think, wow, I want to share this with people. Maybe other people will be inspired by it. And I wrote something this morning that I'd love to share with you. So here it
Wow.
is. When I am at peace with me, I am at peace with the world, and the world is at peace with me. When I am loving me, I am loving the world, and the world is loving me. When I am happy with me, I am happy with the world, and the world is happy with me. When I'm opening my heart to me, I'm opening my heart to the world, and the world is opening its heart to me. When I'm at one with my heart, I'm at one with the world, and the world is at one with me. At peace with me, at peace with you, at peace with the world. Loving me, loving you, loving the world. Happy with me, happy with you, happy with the world. That's it. That's what I wrote this morning, and I have a feeling it was inspired by the thought of coming to share with you today, Marina. So I hope you enjoyed listening to that, whoever's listening.
Wow. And you know, I was thinking that I don't get tired. You know, I feel this energy you were mentioning before, and I know it's a fact. There is no such thing like being ordinary. There is no such thing like failure, and to me, you know, the way you share your story, how the sound of ambulance means something totally different to you than means to everybody else, how even the fireworks means totally different things to you than everybody else. It's the same for everybody, and there is no such thing like being ordinary. Doesn't matter what your war is. You have to win the war by winning every single battle. Each day is another battle. For the listener out there, take Aen Turner's message in. Take it, embrace it, and embrace your challenges. Turn them into opportunities, because you are here with a special reason. You have a mission to deliver. You have a gift, a God-given gift that is all yours, got your name on it. Nobody can be you. You are the one and only. From both of us, until next time, being very grateful for listening in, and so truly grateful to Aen Turner for being here, and hoping and praying she'll come back more often now,
Bless you,
because
Marina.
you are
I'm
so
blessed.
loved and loved over from here to the moon and back.
Oh, thank you. And the same to you. And thank you very much for the few minutes we had today. They were absolutely extraordinary. And I'd be very happy to come back and share whatever I have with whomever is listening. It's a blessing, and it's an honor as well as a pleasure.
From both of us, till next time, is goodbye.
Goodbye.